What's going on, everyone? It's Justin here, and today we're going to be talking about the new iPhone SE for 2022, the update, some of the new features, the changes that you should expect, but most importantly, the question of who exactly is this phone for, and is it worth the price point even after its small price jump of about $30 compared to the previous one that came out in 2020. So if you guys remember back then, we talked a lot about the iPhone SE leading up to its refresh, where they went ahead and utilized the same design as the iPhone 8, but implemented the newest chipset. And that seems to be a very common trend when it comes to like a budget version of smartphones amongst all the different companies, whether it's iPhone or Android. It seems to be a very popular route. And overall, it has done quite well, but there's a big question to answer this year as to did Apple do enough in this update and whether or not that little price jump still makes it a very compelling entry-level iPhone model for 2022. The biggest thing that I've kind of been seeing online though is that this isn't exactly an exciting release. And what I've got to say to that though, as someone who is usually using the latest and greatest tech, like the iPhone 13 Pro at the moment, is that this phone is not exactly targeted to those demographics who are commenting that. This is a phone that sells very well to certain demographics, including like someone who's buying a phone for the first time for their kid, for example, or someone who's just a little bit more old-fashioned. And if you're someone who really cares about like the camera, the displays, and all that kind of stuff, then at $429, you're likely looking at a smartphone that is closer to $700, $800, or even $1,000. And so even though I understand that this is not like the most exciting release out there, it is simply a phone that is not positioned to that audience. So when it comes to the unboxing process, it is overall very simple. Everything that you would expect is there. You also have like the charging cable. And when it comes to the color options themselves, it comes in a midnight, a starlight, and also product red. I really like the way the product red looks, but I would say this midnight right here is probably my favorite. It has a bit of like a dark navy tint to it, and in some angles, it just looks like black, but in others, it does have like a bit of that like navy feel, and I think it is a good like slight differentiation from just like a standard black color option. So with 3 color options, there's not many to really have to decide from comparative to like the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, which comes in a whole range of colors, as well as the new green that we also recently checked out and I think looks pretty awesome. So just getting down to it, when it comes to the design, nothing has changed here. It is the same as the iPhone 8, the same form factor, the same 4.7-inch display, and from a hardware standpoint, aesthetically, it is identical. There's still like the Touch ID on the front, and all the changes are actually found on the inside. The biggest one being the A15 Bionic chip, which is the exact same one that is in the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, and paired with about 4 gigabytes of RAM. And when it comes to benchmarks, it comes in exactly the same as what the iPhone 13 scores, which is a very powerful smartphone. Some of the other benefits beyond like the performance itself, which we're gonna get down to the numbers in a bit, are the battery life. And that is something that I would say the iPhone SE lacked a little bit, especially when you take a look at the rest of the iPhone lineup and how the battery progression has increased significantly, especially with the updates to the chipsets. That has really been a focus. The efficiency aspect has been very noticeable in the last couple of years of flagship iPhone. So with this A15 chip, you do have a 6-core processor, and the GPU is 4 cores. Measuring it up against a previous generation iPhone SE, the CPU is 1.8 times faster and the GPU is 2.2 times faster, and the overall battery efficiency is about 25%. So you're gonna get a significant increase in terms of the overall battery usage, and considering it has the same chip that is powering the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, which in some cases has the ProMotion display, a higher resolution one, a larger one, a brighter one, all that kind of stuff. This is an iPhone that is actually running very efficiently beyond just the chip upgrade because it uses the same hardware as the previous generations of iPhone 8. So that is kind of a benefit there. And if you appreciate like the small size form factor, the 4.7-inch display is still here. But of course, you also do have the option to the iPhone 13 mini. The 4.7-inch Retina HD display has True Tone, a P3 wide color gamut, and 625 nits of peak brightness, which is respectable. The other addition here is 5G. It doesn't have the millimeter wave, but it still gives you the 5G support, brings you up to date with that. And when it comes to speed, here are some of the tests that I ran compared to the iPhone 13 Pro in a city that has 5G, but doesn't always have that full coverage. Some of the small upgrades also include the material, which has tougher glass on the front and back, and also still the IP67 water and dust resistance, but it doesn't have support for stuff like MagSafe. On the camera side of things though, this is where I find it a little bit interesting. A lot of the improvements are made when it comes to the processing, the neural engine, and all those contribute to the softer side of image processing, giving you the access to Smart HDR4, improved contrast and lighting, and you also have the multi-shot deep fusion technology, as well as high frame rate video at 1080p and 120 frames a second, and also these photographic styles that we saw introduced this year. But the hardware itself is still fundamentally the same, with a 12 megapixel sensor at an f1.8 aperture. So here are some of like the photo samples. Unfortunately, I don't have the previous generation iPhone SE, but generally speaking, it just goes to show how beyond the hardware, the software has been the area of the biggest improvement in the past couple of years when it comes to processing images, and how all the algorithms and science behind it is often more important than the hardware. But I think a lot of people still expected a bit of like a hardware update to this year's iPhone SE. It still has the same glass and aluminum design, and to be honest, I find that it still looks pretty good nowadays. I'm sure in the future we will see an iPhone SE that is the same design as like the newer generation iPhones with like the flat edge, for example, but this is really a phone targeted to people who either still like the home button and are very used to it, but want to be able to have a better battery life and the up-to-date specs and ecosystem support for many years to come, as well as people who are just entering the Apple ecosystem and don't really want to jump straight to a flagship model because there are so many options to choose from, and at a price of $429, it is a very good entry point. Another demographic this phone also makes a lot of sense for is for anyone who's just looking to get their first phone for their kid. You don't want to spend the most money on that. They just need to have something that is able to call, is reliable, has all the features of the Apple ecosystem, and at a price of $429, that is once again a very attractive purchase for that demographic. So it's, even though this is not like an exciting release and more of just like an addition to like the green iPhones, which people seem very excited about, by Apple releasing an update here, it is obviously a phone that has sold very well, especially in certain countries outside of, say, like North America, where the average price of smartphones is significantly less than like the flagship options out there that cost $1,000, $1,500, and sometimes even reaching $2,000. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much to say about it. The performance is definitely there. The efficiency is there. The battery life improvements are good. The camera is definitely solid, but if you really prioritize that, then I definitely recommend you spending the extra money for like the iPhone 13. But otherwise, this has just been like a quick overview of the iPhone SE for 2022. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next one.